Talk about Aang's tattoos and the symbolism of the cross. This is a screenshot from my friend Mario Garza, Symbolic Studies live stream, Kingdoms, Kings, and Crosses, all about cross symbolism. And he mentions that we as man are the bridges between heaven and earth. And of course, in this monomythic way, I've always said, we are our own avatars. And the avatar in the Avatar universe is always referred to as the great bridge between spirits and man. Of course, the cross is north, south, east, and west, the four cardinal directions, the four elements. But there was a fifth point, that center, a spiritual pole, if you will, and that is what is shown here on this graph. That's ether, that's spirit, real, quintessence, prana, chi. Which is why Jesus was crucified on the cross. You notice that Aang's tattoos go out in all directions, even pointing back down to himself, his center. His scar on his back where he was crucified by Azula's lightning, of course, is at his center. The four rivers on the Mercator map with the spiritual center, North Pole, magnetic mountain, just like the four rivers of the Garden of Eden. Four nations in Avatar. The four types of elemental lion turtles, and the four original benders. Here's a quote from Renee Ganon talking about the four cardinal directions and the tree of life. Yggdrasil, trees, mountains, poles, pillars are seen as cross symbolism, bridges of heaven and earth. Here is another quote from Renee Ganon's book, The Symbolism of the Cross. This center directs all things by its actionless activity, like the North Star. Also, the Avatar. Just the idea of the Avatar being this immovable force to keep balance made the Fire Nation attack preemptively all the air temples before the Avatar could stop them. Here's another quote from Renee Ganon's book, The Symbolism of the Cross. At the center of the cross, all oppositions are reconciled and resolved. Balance, the Avatar's duty. As far as the four cardinal directions and the four elements, with the fifth aether and center, brings up Ezekiel 40, Genesis 1:1-3, and 2 Peter 3:5-7. Here's what Haven AI had to say about the four kings and Christ being the cross pillar bridge of heaven and earth. It brings up Daniel 7:1-8 and John 1:51 on the idea of pillars, poles, trees, and mountains being primordial crosses. It brings up Exodus 24:4, 1 Kings 14:23, Genesis 2:9, and Revelations 22:2, as well as Psalm 121, 1-2. As far as Aang being the bridge between heaven and earth, it brings up John 1:51 on connecting the Mercator map and the four rivers of the Garden of Eden. Haven AI brings up Genesis 2:10-14, as well as Isaiah 48:10. Now on how mountains, trees, pillars, poles are the original primordial symbol of the cross, how four can become two and two can become one, is Taoism. In Stoic philosophy is called Logos Spermatico. Of course, that gets us to yin and yang, but also Rava and Vatu, these ancient primordial deities of discourse and harmony. Similar how you can put the four elements into the masculine and feminine, you can also put solar and lunar symbolism back to its original source, polar symbolism, the North Star. This is biblical Earth, the cosmic egg. The North Star, the pole star, is God's eye, God's throne room, the gateway of heaven, is the center of everything. Your true north, your guiding star. Christ's way, the middle path. In the legend of Korra, we see the North and South Pole, the spirit portals. In the center, we see the Tree of Time. We can draw a connection here between Yggdrasil and the Tree of Life in the Garden of Eden. Here it is again. Look how toroidal it looks like. We start from God's source, and then we return to God's source, the hero's journey. Aang, the hero archetype, the Messiah figure, or as Joseph Campbell would say, the hero with 1,000 faces, just like Christ, teaches us that we need to answer the hero's call, God's call. That's the middle path. That's the hero's journey. And that's how we live a fulfilled life. That's how we get into heaven. Have faith in our fate and our destiny, and determination to will the rest. To find your center is balance. Follow your North Star, your true north. Pick up your cross and carry it. You're the temple, you're the pillar, you're the pole, you are the cross.